here in very wet conditions at Warwick Farm. They're lined up for the series production touring car race over 10 laps, a distance of 22.5 miles, and a very interesting combination of 3 cars on the front. On the inside, in car 51, is DIGBY COOKE in the Monaros Cooper S. That signal, by the way, is 1 minute to go. 51 is DIGBY COOKE in the Monaros Cooper S. Beside him in 42 is Nick Petrelli, the Holden Monaro, and on the outside of the front line of the grid is car number 45. That's John Harris in the Ford Falcon. So we're seeing these production cars, 3 different types, the small one and the 2 big ones outside him. Less than a minute to go now for this race, over 10 laps. And you can see the exhaust, the steam rising off this track. It's wet right throughout. A very sloppy day indeed here at Warwick Farm. Windscreen wipers are going, and it won't be long now before the actual start. Just a few seconds left, and very soon now they'll be racing over 10 laps, 22.5 miles. Flags raised. And away they go. And the little Mini Cooper getting away very well indeed on the inside, but 42, the more powerful car, that's Nick Petrelli. Now, right at the end of the grid in this race, we have John French, and he's driving an Alfa Romeo, so we may see him come through the field later on. Let's watch as they go around through the slop over there around Homestead, over the Western Crossing, and down into the straight. There might be a spin already over there. No, but they're through there. You can see how much water's on this track. Appalling conditions here at Warwick Farm, and watch the spray as they come down the straight. And with me, one of Australia's top sedan car drivers, Brian Foley. These conditions, Brian, what effect will they have on the race?
Well, these conditions normally favour the small cars. The track being in such terrible condition, you'll find that the Mini will be able to handle these conditions a little bit better than the Holden and the Falcon. Now, DIGBY COOKE is lying in second place, just behind Nick Petrelli as they go through Creek Corner. And if he can get past the Holden through the S's, he could clear out from the race. The other car I think that we've got to watch is John French in the Alfa Romeo, who was starting off the back of the grid, owing to the fact he didn't practice yesterday. Now, he should be seen on our screen fairly shortly as he gets up towards the front.
Now, coming into the tight part of the course round towards the northern crossing, they're coming in for the loop into the causeway. And watch the small car here. Car number 51, DIGBY COOKE. Now, let's see how he goes. And he's going on the inside. That's a nice piece of driving, Brian.
Very good, very good. I think now that he's got past the Holden, he should be able to get enough lead by the start of the main straight to be able to get down to Creek Corner again first. So my money at this stage is on DIGBY COOKE.
What are the limitations in driving in such wet conditions? Is it a matter of dropping your maximum speed down and play it more safely?
You've got to play it safely. You'll find that in a lot of these races run in the wet, the fella that just takes it easy and drives within himself and doesn't spin or lose the car in any part of the circuit.
Now here's Lakis Manticus in car 53, another little one, moving up to have a crack at the big Falcon. And this is very interesting too. The smaller cars, as you say, Brian, are getting away from the big ones purely because of the state of the track. Because on this Warwick Farm circuit, the big cars can move away on the long straightaway when they can get this extra maximum speed. But if you've got to drop your speed for safety, well, they just can't get the advantage. And that's the end of lap 1. The leader is car number 51. That's DIGBY COOKE. Second placing at the moment is John Harris in the Ford Falcon. And challenging very close for third is Lakis Manticus in the Monaros Cooper S. You see the leader's margin now. And there's a change of order there too. It looks like the little one's been overtaken by the Holden Monaro. And look at the conditions over there. There's one off the track. There's one spun right off. Who's that? Let's try and pick up that number. It looks like car number 60, is it?
It looks like DIGBY COOKE is doing away with
59. Car number 59, that was the Monaros Cooper S of George MacLeod. But back in the main straight, here's the leader coming down for the braking area into Creek Corner.
I might add to Norm that the other advantage that the Minis have is the fact that they are able to run Dunlop racing tyres, whereas the Holden and Falcon, because of their wheel size, can only run conventional radials. So this, again, is an advantage for the Mini.
He seems to be whipping along. It'll be very interesting to get a lap time on him. Look at that line around that corner. That's you see they're all taking this outside line. And we're can see this margin now. He's opened up a big gap over the rest of them. And as you say, Brian, I don't think they'll get to him now.
Digby would have about 4-second lead here over the rest of the field from the Holden and the two Falcons. This Falcon now has moved up in front of Maticus. Just trying to see his number there in the rain.
Car number 44 is coming up. That's Fred Gibson.
That's Fred Gibson, yes. Well, now Fred started way back on the grid and he's moved up in the fourth, so he could be another car to watch.
And here's the leader coming round Polo Corner, approaching the final straightaway. He has a very big margin now, probably about 100 yards over the rest of the field. See his line round the final corner. And he's well out in front as he completes the second lap, second of 10 laps, and a very good race for second indeed. We'll see those later on. With the leader about 100 yards out in front. Then it's 42, 45 and 44, second, third and fourth at the moment. You see now the margin between first and second. It's over 100 yards. The second car has not appeared. It will be car 45, and you see the group of 4 cars racing for second. And I'm having a look round for the Alfa Romeo of Barry French. Can't see it yet.
John French has just gone past the pits now, Norm. He is further back than what I expected, but I think possibly the race within the race here is the race for second place between the two Falcons, the Holden and the Coupe Rest. This is really on.
Round Creek Corner for the third time. Staying on Creek Corner, you'll watch the group of 4 come through next. And in time, that's about 7 or 8 seconds. 42 ahead of 45, that's Nick Petrelli and John Harris. And coming behind them is car 44, that's Fred Gibson, and then Lakis Manticus in the Morris Cuba S. That's Petrelli in 42. There's a great dice going on, car 45, John Harris. It's the Holden and the Falcon here.
Actually, no, I just noticed that there are several other cars now caught up to fight out this second place. I will see them shortly. Another couple of Coupe Rests, I think, and another Holden.
That's John Harris.
John Harris.
Around now for the completion of lap 3, and look at that body sway in both those cars. It would appear, Brian, it would be difficult under these conditions for the bigger models to get past each other.
Well, as you can see here, the track gets very narrow when you've got 2 big cars trying to pass each other. And now we have the white Holden of Bill Brown's just come right up into calculations here behind the Falcon of John Harris. There's Bill Brown there now in the white car, just right there.
While we're watching the battle for second place, of course, Digby Cooke is well out in front. But this is a great race for second now with the 3 big fellows, 41, 42 and 45. That's 2 Holdens and a Falcon. This gives you some idea of the visibility in the straight, Brian.
It's very difficult for the cars behind to see. The spray is really bad. As Nick Petrelli still holding down second place. The Falcon's gone wide here, and Bill Brown, I'd say, is suing the third. No.
One there with the headlights on Bill Brown. That's not bad tactics, because with that dust, or not so much spray flying in the straight, you've driven in these conditions, Brian. It must be very hard.
I've driven in these conditions, Norman. I'm going to have to drive in these conditions a bit later on, but the headlights possibly just a little bit of a psychological warfare here to upset the fellow in front, I think.
Now, watching these 3, I'm wondering at what points on this circuit, which is a fairly tight circuit, with the lack of ability to manoeuvre as you would under normal circumstances, where on the circuit could they get past?
Well, the best place with cars of this type, or being fairly large,
There's one place.
Bill Brown has got through there now on the Falcon, who has been taking fairly wide lines during this race. The best place really in these conditions to pass is down the main straight, and of course this is where the corner before these main straights really come into it.
He's dropped back 44, moving
Fred
through.
Gibson has gone past, and a couple of minis there.
Here's the race for second. Car 42 in second place is Nick Petrelli, and moving up is car 41. That's the end of lap 4, 6 laps to go. But way out in front still is the leader, DIGBY COOKE in the Monaros Cooper S. Here he is in the straight. So DIGBY COOKE, and he has this lead now of probably, well, 300 yards. You see, as he's halfway down the straight under the bridge, the second car has not yet appeared, so he's opening up the lead. Here comes car 42 second, and car 41 running in third place at the moment. And there's a spin off into the track. There's a bump, but it's going to be okay. Well, that's one way of going on.
I think that was latest manning as well. It's a bit hard to see from here. I think it was him, though.
Well, the driver's quite okay. That's something we did see. That's a good thing, but what a spectacular spin that was. Nick Petrelli hanging on to the second place rather grimly, and the main challenger is car 41, the Dennis Geary's Motors entry.
This car is driven by Bill Brown, not Dennis Geary.
I could mention there's nothing at all wrong with your picture. That's just how dark the track is over in certain sections. There's a very smoky cloud or rain cloud hovering right over the circuit. Now moving up is another Mini here. That looks like we have difficulty as much as anybody in picking out the numbers. Here's a great dice between 44. 44 is Fred Gibson, and 69, that's Dwyer, Pierre Dwyer in the Monaros Cooper S. Now where can he go? This is where the Mini is really hard to trust with his tire parts. If Gibson can hold off now till he gets to Homestead Corner, which is the approach to the main straight, he can then open up a much wider gap on the smaller car. This is Freddie Gibson now. This is the second group. This is second and third, respectively. The leader has gone through. Second and third is Petrelli and Brown in 41. 42 and 41, second and third at the moment. And that's the halfway point of the race, the end of lap 5.
Bill Brown, I think, Norm should give Petrelli quite a run for his money here. Bill's a very, very experienced driver and has the distinction of being the fastest man in Australia. He drove the P4 Ferrari for Scuderia Veloce earlier this year at Longford in Tasmania, last year, and it was recorded at 180 miles an hour.
That car that came through first, I don't think it was the leader. That car was lapped, I'd say. There might have been a couple lapped already. But here's this good race for second and third now. That's Brown coming on the inside. Will he make it? This is going to be pretty tight because the long lens foreshortening the effect of the cars, and I think 42 always was slightly in front. Obviously it was.
You'll notice that Bill Brown has closed the gap on Nick Petrelli on that last lap, and I would say during this lap now that they're on, he should really throw out a challenge.
The point here, Brian, these two cars are exactly the same model. These are the production cars. There's nothing between them as far as performance is concerned. It's a matter of driving entirely, isn't it?
Exactly. Both cars are identical, and I would say they would be running identical tyres, and therefore it's up to the nut behind the wheel, virtually.
Now the leader is through the causeway. That's DIGBY COOKE. He's well out in front, and we're watching now the two in the race for second place. Now here he goes. He's going on the inside again, but can he make it? I don't think he will. And how close can you drive?
At this stage, Bill Brown is sticking his nose in at every corner and really trying to upset the Nick Petrelli, and he couldn't quite do this. This is the mark of an experienced driver in Bill Brown, who is trying to upset the chap in front here.
This neck and neck dice, Brian, I suppose it's the niggling tactics of the man behind can, as you say, throw the man in front off. But I think under these conditions he's taking a bit of a risk because it's hard to hold those cars on the road on this wet track.
Very difficult.
4 laps now to go, and the leader is car number 51, Digby Cooke. Second placing 42 on picture, and that is Nick Petrelli, and third placing is 41, and here's a go now.
That was fairly close. I think if Bill Brown was to hang back here now for Homestead and get a good run through, he may get up beside Petrelli on the run down Hume Straight.
And look at the little Mini that's coming to 4th place now, so the little Mini could come up and challenge these 2 larger cars as they come down the straight. This is in Hume Straight. Leading car about probably a quarter of a mile in front by now. Through the gloom and the S's and the Northern Crossing.
I would say on that lap, Norm, that Petrelli actually got away from Bill Brown slightly.
There's the leader over on the causeway up towards Polo Corner, and in the meantime the second group are well back. They probably would be about a quarter of a mile, perhaps more, 500 yards behind the leader who's been in front from the outset. And there's a spin-off by 41, and where is he? He's up out into almost into the escape road, so that's a change of order. He's coming back on the track, but he loses his place. He's gone back to 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. He's in 11th place now.
Now can Bill Brown reinstate himself in 3rd position here? He's got to try and get past what about 7 minis there all in a row.
.42 with 3 laps to go. That's Nick Petrelli in 2nd place. Now let's watch for the new 3rd man. It's another one of the bigger cars. I think it would be 44. I think Fred Gibson would move up into 3rd place following that run off the track by car number 41. But that's opened the field right out now, and if they can just maintain position, they're almost in single file as you see them, just gaps between the cars. A great battle between all those minis. And here's the second car coming through, and in the background is the new 3rd place getter, which at this stage we think is car 44, Fred Gibson. We'll pick them up as they get down into, and there's a spin-off. Well, that's an unusual spin, Brian, to go that way.
Well, no, you'll find, Norm, sometimes in quite a lot of occasions when you spin a car in a corner, you finish up on the inside of the corner a lot of times. Depends on how many spins you do, though. Quite a surprise, if you just look back into about 6th place in the field, you'll see a Fiat 125. You're just going in the green corner.
You just corrected this. I said car 44. I thought it was third. That's car 45, John Harris in the Ford Falcon. So 45 of the tremendous sway around that last corner. He's in 3rd place. Here's one more casualty. Number 64 is a casualty on the side of the track, and 64 is leads the Morris Cooper S. Well, this Falcon's really putting on a show, Brian.
Yes, I think he's getting a bit excited. Now this is John Harris, who is now running in 3rd position behind Nick Petrelli in 2nd, and Digby Cooke leading the race. Behind John Harris in the 2nd Falcon 302 is Freddie Gibson. Closely followed by Gary Hodge in the Cooper S there, also entered by Dennis Geary.
And that's Fred Gibson in 44, who's in 4th place at the moment. 44 Fred Gibson, 55 Gary Hodge. And the little fellow, I don't think he'll catch him in this part of the course because the bigger car can get the acceleration down the main straightaway. Up to the 2nd and 3rd. Nick Petrelli holding 2nd place the whole time. Behind him is John Harris in the Falcon. In the meantime, with less than 2 laps to go, the leader is probably half a lap in front. And here's the leader in the main straight, as we've just seen. The 2nd and 3rd place getters come through the ledger straight, or the final finishing straight. And you see the gap now in time, getting up now towards 15 seconds, probably in distance well over a mile, probably half a lap. Here they come, 42 and 45.
Well, there's nothing in at the moment. DIGBY COOKE is on the length.
All these cars are in their 9th lap, Norm, too, so there's 1 lap to go after this.
There's another Mini going off. Keep the early one company, so we've seen two go one way and one go the other. Rain's eased off at the moment, which is a slight change, although they're still using their wipers.
Here's Nick Petrelli now just into the S's. Second last time, 1 more lap to go after this. Closely followed by John Harris in the Ford Falcon. Here's Bill Brown just back there a little. He's made up quite a bit of ground.
See the leader just popping through in the front there. The leader seems to be taking it a bit easier. He knows he's a long way out in front and he's just going along steadily. His lead has been reduced slightly, but he's in no real danger of defeat if he just maintains his position on the track, and that in itself is a hard thing to do under today's conditions. The leader has passed the finishing line. He has 1 lap to go. We're watching car 55. This is Gary Hodge, who's up into about 5th place, isn't he? 4th place now. Gary Hodge has actually got past Fred Gibson.
That puts him in 4th place. Fred Gibson 5th. Then young Dwyer is closely followed there, closely following Fred Gibson. Now Bill Brown has moved up into, I think it's 6th position. It should be quite an exciting last lap for Bill Brown. He's right in the sights of 3 cars there.
Second and third going through now, 4th, 5th and 6th. And you see Bill Brown has moved up into 6th place now in the white car. He could improve down the straight up to 4th place if he's got the speed. Let's watch this as they come down.
He could pass the Mini down here, Norm, on this particular lap.
Well, he almost went off and joined the other 2.
You'll notice that he had a real attack there. This was to get a sort of a run into the straight and really overdid it, really.
Indian file round the straight for the last time. Is getting round towards the end of the race. He would be some half a mile ahead of this group of 2nd and 3rd. Out in front is car 51, DIGBY COOKE, Morris Cooper S. He's been well out in front all the way.
The last lap over the northern crossing, Nick Petrelli, a definite 2nd place now as he goes down to the causeway for the last time.
And the leading car is just approaching the final straight. He's coming down to take the checkered flag as we're watching the 2nd place getter and 3rd in the causeway. The leader has just got the checkered flag. He's won the race. And the race for 2nd, we have 42 and 45. That's Nick Petrelli in the Holden Monaro and John Harris in the Ford Falcon. Now, they've stayed in this order for a long time. They're coming up to the straight now. This final corner is the only place where Petrelli could be passed. And round he comes. That's the final straight for these 2 cars. And as they come across the line, we can give you the result of the series production touring car race. First, car number 51, DIGBY COOKE in the Morris Cooper S. 2nd, Nick Petrelli in the Holden Monaro. And 3rd, John Harris in the Ford Falcon. Cars 51 first, 42 second and 45 third in the 10-lap series production touring car race here at Warwick Farm.